Welcome to Voices of the Plaza, the podcast, hosted by Peggy MacArthur. This is where we amplify stories of empowerment, innovation, and success from the heart of the Global Business Plaza. Each week, Peggy introduces us to one of the creative business people, entrepreneurs, and industry experts who are shaping their fields and redefining success. Together, we'll explore unique journeys, highlight remarkable expertise, and uncover the inspiration behind their success.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am very excited about today's episode. Amélie is joining us from New Zealand, and we are very excited to have a conversation. Thank you so much for doing this with me today.
Thank you for having me, Peggy. It's really an honor, and I love to chat with you, and I love talking all things business and about what I do. So this is such a wonderful opportunity.
Well, I'm excited. So I know a little bit about what you do, but how do you introduce yourself to people that don't know anything at all about you?
Ooh, this is a sexy question. So I do beauty and self-care strategy. I work as a confidence coach, and I redefine what beauty gets to mean for you and how you support yourself through your life with self-care in a way that comes from a place of solution instead of a place of problem, which as women, we know that we're always told that we are not enough, that we need to change this or that, and that we can't age. That is not how I roll. I roll from a place of solution. And what do you want to be? How do you want to show up? And who are you?
What made you get on this path? Like, has this been a passion since childhood, or is this something happened and you were like, you know what? I can be in beauty and also give people confidence.
I think a lot of it has actually got to go back to my mom. So I was born in the 90s where to be orange was all the rage, and I'm about as white as you can be. I blind people at the beach. And my mom, when I talked to her about self-tanner, just looked at me and went, "Oh, stop being ridiculous. If you had been born in the 1800s, people would have killed for your skin." And I was like, okay, cool, but I'm still being, bullied, and people are judging me and everything because of what I look like. And I was like, just get over it, grow thick skin. And that kind of really tied me to beauty standards and how beauty standards evolve through time. And there are things about you that you can't change. So how do you regain control? How do you regain your confidence when you don't really match the beauty standards? And then as I grew up, I actually realized that evolution of beauty standards usually tend to go from super skinny to very curvaceous back to super skinny, so that by the time you actually potentially have changed your habits to meet the new standard, it goes back to the other extreme. And so as women, we are just doomed to never fit that standard, which as a feminist, I believe is a way of controlling us as women, so that if we are focusing on what we are not and changing what we are to fit that mold, we actually lose sight of the big picture, which is equity when it comes to healthcare, pay, and rights and all of that. And then also going back to my mom doesn't have words of affirmation as a love language, and I really do. And it was very interesting to always see her also noticing, oh, well, you got 17 out of 20. What happened to the 3 missing points? And that kind of got me to go, ooh, this doesn't land well with me. Like, I always feel like I am not enough. And so that brought me to, all right, if I am working with women, I want them to feel good when they work with me. And so instead of going, what happened to those 3 missing marks, actually go, cool, you have 17. Let's celebrate this. And what was great for you about this experience? And so I kind of took that to beauty.
Nice. I love that. Has there ever been a point where you almost quit, where you were like, this, I can't do it anymore?
There were 2, well, maybe 3 if we go from, when I actually launched my business, but when I was still studying. So at the Christmas exam, I failed drastically my skin, so my histology, so the study of skin exam, we're talking like very, very failed. And it was kind of a turning moment because I got to go, actually, no, I do love this. I think I'm made to do facials. I think I'm made to actually hold space for people. And this is the vehicle that I chose to do that. So let's just get my ego out of the way and actually go and look for my own information so that what I'm being taught is making sense. And I did that, and I fell down the rabbit hole, and we are 13 years later, and I never really came out of it. And that same year at school, I started to develop allergies. And so my skin was basically flaring up. I had to be pulled from treatment rooms. We thought I couldn't graduate because I didn't do enough hours of internship. Thank goodness, on paper, Sundays counted for doubles, so I still could graduate. My hands were basically bleeding from reacting to
Goodness.
and, when you're hands-on in products like I am, that's basically, a nail in a coffin. You're like, I can't do this. And that's how I made my way to clean beauty, because I get to be very selective about what I work. And then in business, I had a really, really hard moment in 2023 where I was supposed to launch something that was supposed to be the big break, and it didn't make a single dollar. And that was really, really hard for me to overcome and come back at it in a different way. But I think that every hurdle that we face as a business owner actually shapes us. And I think that as entrepreneurs, we all have a giant cemetery of offers that we didn't launch, or offers that flopped, or offers that we've only run once and we've actually learned something about our customer in the process. And we tend to compare ourselves to other people, but actually comparing ourselves to, if you're a woman, but like a cycle before is maybe the best comparison to do, rather than to other people.
And that right there is I think a really big key, because a lot of times we tend to think that we have to be at a certain place, or success has to come a certain way or look a certain way. But if we just worry about what we want and what we're doing, and we focus more on that, then we realize that actually we're at a really good place. And I bet that those things that, like you were saying, the allergies caused you to go into clean, products, and really studying that. And so you have literally hands-on experience about things like that. So you can talk to people with sensitive skin in a different way than a lot of people. So it's kind of funny, the times that almost break us can actually launch us in a completely different area in a different way.
Absolutely. There is a speech by Steve Jobs that I really, really love. And he talks about connecting the dots, and how back when he was at university, he was studying IT or software engineering or something like that. And he had to take a calligraphy course. And ultimately, that calligraphy course is how he got to create the first font when he launched the first Mac computer, and how he created that first font. And he never knew how that calligraphy course would ever come handy, and eventually it did. And I love that story.
Exactly. The thing that it's like, why am I here? And then that's hilarious. I love that. So what would you say the biggest misconception about what you do? Like when you say, hey, I work in beauty and self-esteem, blah, blah, blah. What do you think the biggest misconception? What do you think people think that means versus what it really means?
I think for a lot of people, it means that I'm stupid.
Ooh.
Because there's this whole conception that we are uneducated, that we did this because we failed at school, and that we couldn't do anything else, right? And that it's just fluff. I think, that we're stupid and then it's just fluff. But actually, there is a lot more to being a skin therapist and a makeup artist than meets the eye. I have just worked with a client over 9 months for an eczema journey, let's call it that. And that client went to doctor after doctor. All she got was steroid creams. And eventually, through 9 months, I have a client who now doesn't get woken up at night because she's itching. She gets to go to the gym and not have to rush in the shower because skin is irritated from sweat. And she actually has a life quality that has improved drastically from how we worked. And now she's moving on to working with a naturopath to work on the internal things, which is obviously outside of scope for me. And we have so many requirements about what we need to know for the body. I had to be able to name every single muscle and every single tendon and every single freaking bone in the body. And I mean, I don't work on bones, right? I work on skin. And then it comes to makeup and skin therapy, there is so much psychology that actually comes into play. So for instance, obviously our clients talk to us a lot. And so to be trauma informed can be really helpful because it's a safe space where people share. There's that saying that says, oh, I'm totally over it, but I'm still going to talk about it with my hairdresser or skin therapist or nail person. And that is extremely
true. Or photographer.
Yes. And then when it comes to makeup artistry, the way we design characters for movies, etc., that is actually rooted deeply in psychology. How do you read the person when you first encounter them on the screen? What do you want them to convey? And people don't really think about it on that deep level. You know, it's just mascara and lipstick and that's it.
And, you know, for me, that's always the big thing is like, the way you present your images, the way you present, like it really does say something about who you are. You can convey an entire message. So obviously I should probably really meet with you on that and work with you on that, because that is, I do believe that there's so much in the psychology of that first impression and how our brains tell us to think about a certain thing, whether it be a color, a texture, whatever it is, it does register certain ways. And that's, you know, that's just the way we're wired. And so knowing that is amazing. I love that.
100%. I'm going to bounce back off of that if I may. And so when we meet somebody for the first time, we read that person's face like we would a picture. And so we are looking for signs that that person is healthy, rested, trustworthy, confident, and capable. And this is effectively what skin quality and makeup quality does for your everyday life. And women who wear makeup can be paid up to 30% more than women who do not wear makeup. I'm not saying that this should be the way that it is. I'm saying that for once we have a standard that we can maybe exploit.
Right.
And that something that's very interesting about that fact as well is that women who are deemed more beautiful versus women who are deemed less beautiful, makeup is not an equalizer. So even if you have a woman who's deemed more beautiful who doesn't wear makeup versus a woman who's deemed less beautiful who wears makeup, that one is going to be paid more than the one who's deemed more beautiful. So makeup can really change perception, because there is such a thing in society, which I think is called the beauty advantage, where if you fit a little bit more today's criteria, you're going to be, you know, more agreeable to look at. And so people are going to look at you more, basically, which is not really fair. And so makeup can come in almost as an equalizer for that, which is beautiful. And also what we see right now about makeup is basically building a different face over your own, which are actually drag queen techniques. And I love drag queens, such amazing technique, etc. However, when you were born a woman and you have female features, you don't need to do this. And so you get to have a much more natural makeup that doesn't require you to pour liquid on your face and to do the snatchural technique, which is what it's called, where you heavily contour, etc., and basically change your entire face. You don't have to do that.
I love that. That's interesting. Very, very cool. So what would you say, is there a thing, kind of an underlying theme that usually when you see a client, there's a thing that they need from you that they don't know to ask? Like, what is that thing that you're like, you know what, you really need this thing and you don't even know you need it?
My clients tend to need to know that they are enough. At the entrance of my working space, which is the cocoon, which we're in right now, underneath the flooring, before it went on, I actually wrote on the concrete slab, and I wrote something that I say to my clients as they come out of my space, which is, you're strong, you're beautiful, you're loved, and you're enough. And I think that we don't hear that enough. And all of my clients, you know, they're extremely busy. They pour and pour and pour and pour out to everybody else in their life. And so they need permission to know that they are enough as they are. They need to know that it's okay to look after themselves. And then usually they need guidance as to what does that look like, and ultimately detaching themselves from performance, which is, you know, society brings us into being performance-based, output-based. And I've actually evolved my entire business to be built on, and I am trademarking this, around the favorite self method, because we all have kind of like that favorite pair or sweatpants or pajama pants that we're going to hang on until the day it really completely crumbles. And whether it has stains or holes or whatever, we love those pair of pants despite all of it. And maybe sometimes because of it, because that one stain is like that amazing party with the best friend or something like that. And I think we should give ourselves the same love than we give to those pajama pants or to other people, right? Show ourselves the grace of honoring where we are at, the grace of honoring how tired we are, if we're sick, if we're menstruating, if whatever, and know that how we show up today is codependent on so many other factors. And thus kind of came the favorite self, which is not based on performance, but based on all the co-factors in your life, including you.
And I love that because, that's something that I talk about in business, that, we're so performance based and we don't think about the fact that actually we're right here, and right here is where we're supposed to be. And that goes in every single area of our life. And I love that. I love that that's one of the main topics that you talk about.
Thank you, Peggy.
So where do you see your business going? I know that you not only do have an in-person practice, but you also have an online practice. So let's talk a little bit about how people literally all over the world can work with you and what you do and what that online practice looks like.
Ooh, I love this question. I have an online course that's starting next month, which is called Master Your Mornings with Effortless Makeup, where I'm basically going to teach you how to nail your makeup in under 10 minutes in the morning so that you can look confident, healthy, awake, capable, and all of the things that we want to come across. Nobody offers such a level of personalization like the way that I do, because I draw on photos of you and you get sent the schematics to feature you. And by the end, you actually receive all of this. And this was printed both sides, right? So it's It's quite thick. And it's the last year I'm running this as a standalone because it's going to be included in the Favorite Self method, which is officially launching next year. And I have Bubble, and Bubble is, oh my gosh, I am in love with Bubble. Bubble is based on the premise that if you fall in love with you, you're going to change the world, because ultimately everything starts with you. And to quote Elle Woods, happy people don't kill their husbands, right?
Exactly.
So let's fall in love with who we are. Let's honor all that we are. And in Bubble, there is products review, there's coaching. I'm a holistic life coach as well. And so that is brought in form of confidence coaching. There are some mini audio drops that are posted weekly. There is 11 guests, experts a year that come and talk about what's outside of my scope of expertise. So we've had quite a few people come and talk, for instance, about financial literacy, because I'm a firm believer that as a woman, knowing what's happening with your money actually empowers you to do life how you want, because money brings choice.
I love that.
And yeah, but I'm just really in love with what I'm building with Bubble, and it gets to evolve with the people that are in the community. And I think my 3-year-old is really happy with what Bubble is turning out to be. And the name actually came because when I was a child, I loved looking at bubbles. For me, they were magic made real. And I think that in the beauty industry, having somebody who tells you it's okay to age, it's okay to have wrinkles, it's okay to be you, it's okay to not want to wear makeup, and it's okay to want to have a skincare routine that's done in 5 minutes. Apparently for my clients, I'm like a breath of fresh air. And so that magic made real is my version of me in my industry trying to change things from within. And so we went with Bubble.
I love it. I love it because it is magic. It is magic. Magic made real. Now let's talk about your 3-year-old. What does he think about all of this? Like, is he like into skincare? Does he like hang out with you and help you in this?
So I was 3 when I fell in love with that. My son is 7 now.
Okay.
But he loves makeup. I've been doing face painting on him since he was about the age of 2. He was also doing my makeup in return, which was
nice.
A lot of, letting go, and he's exploring, and this is fine. And he really illustrates that you are a product of your surroundings. So for instance, makeup is swatched on the back of the hand, right? So my son, when he needs to try a marker before he draws, he
Of
actually
course,
tries the
he
marker
tries it on his
the back of
hand.
his hand.
That's nice.
Yes, because that's what I do. And he loves makeup. He asks me to do his makeup. I do Reiki, and he asks me for Reiki every evening. He is very in tune with colors, and he looks at movies and he goes, "Ooh, ooh, was that the right color? Oh, do you think that I think that person's going to be bad?" Because I've kind of like deconstructed some stuff with him. I'm looking forward to when we start watching horror movies and he can go with me and be like, "That blood splatter makes no sense."
That's awesome.
But no, he loves, yes, he loves makeup, he loves beauty, and he really highlights joy, I think, in life for me, and how a different perspective always matters. Yeah.
Well, I just think that when we raise boys to respect their bodies and women's bodies and other people's bodies and find beauty in everything, then that's really how we're going to change the world.
100%. I mean, he hears me say that beauty is innate all the time because everybody has something that's beautiful about them, and we get to just highlight it. So beauty truly is innate, and he hears me say that all the time, and he is so kind. And like, I hurt my toe the other day, and his first thing was to drop everything that he was doing and running towards me and giving me a hug.
Aww.
Like, oh, we're doing something right, my husband and I.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me, if your business disappeared today or tomorrow, what would the world really be missing? Like, what is the magic that the world would be missing?
Power through self-care and self-love. Because, so I developed 7 different types of self-care, which is based off of the languages of love, which I've actually expanded to 7 as well. And we are not taught how we get to show love to ourselves, but actually showing love to us is how we get to then outpour love, right? The same then, put your own oxygen mask on first on a plane. And we need more love in the world. We need more trust. We need more care. We need more of helping each other. And I believe that that really starts with the self and with knowing how to care for you, because then you actually are more capable of taking care of others, and also loving you, because if you love all of you, including your shadows, your defaults and all of that, then you will not be as judgmental of other people, because we know that you have those too. But when you put them aside and just go, "No, I'm perfect," this is when you're judging. And people say that when you are criticizing or judging somebody else, it's actually a mirror of what you don't like about you. And so loving all of you holds so much power, because then when somebody tells you, for instance, "You're such a snob," you can go, "You're actually right. I love my comfort, and this is not aligned with my standard, and it's totally okay." Right? Like, it doesn't, we all have different things that we love and don't love. And some people are going to be really happy with a $30 facial at something down the road that's a walk-in, and somebody else is going to want a $300 experience, right? Who are we to judge what somebody is going to prioritize? And all of that is based out of standard. And so loving you means that you actually own up to your standards.
I love that. I love that. Okay, what is the one thing you would like all of our listeners to go away with today?
Coming back to your body, because your body holds the truth. So your body keeps the score when it comes to everything that happened to you in life. And your body is telling you that you're stressed, that you're tired, that you're sick. Your body is just telling you. So listen to your body, come back to your body. And if you don't know how to do that, breath is the way. Breathworks has absolutely changed my life for the better. I am not yet trained to offer breathworks, but one day I will be. And there are so many different types of breathworks, the same way that there are so many different kinds of pasta, right? Some people are going to love pasta carbonara, and some people are going to love lasagna. Well, there are many, many different types of breathworks. And whether you do yoga and then you breathe there, whether you do box breathing, or whether you choose to do awaken breathworks, whatever it is that you choose to do, if you can, because there are some counterindication to breath work, such as pregnancy, epilepsy, cancer, and I think a couple of others. So if you are able to do breath works, your breath is the way back to your body.
I love that. I love that. So everyone needs to go find you, have a consultation with you, get involved in your upcoming workshop. They can find you at theglobalbusinessplaza.com, go down to the directory and look for you. Or how's another way they can find you?
They can find me on Instagram, which is the easiest way to get in touch with me, and that is cleanbeauty.with.amelie. I still have short hair in my photo, so that's the best way to find me. Or you can look up Amelie's, so AMELIES.co.nz. All of my prices are in New Zealand dollars. Sorry, so if you are in the States, lucky you. And yeah, but Instagram is the best place to send me a message. I have a long turnover time for emails.
Yes, she does. But yes, definitely go check her out and check out the workshop and all the other amazing things, the Bubble platform. And again, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And I am excited to hear all the comments that people are going to have to say about this. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Peggy. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And I will see you all on Instagram.
Yes. All right. Bye-bye.